You shouldn't spill any more information because we're live now.
Oh no! You're trying to set me up to get in trouble. I do not like this.
Almost did.
Yeah. Alrighty. What's up, everybody?
All live talking about that shit.
Yeah, no, yeah. I wasn't saying anything. Nobody told me anything. I don't know what y'all are talking about. But we had old Michigan again. We got to go to Michigan.
Yeah, it's on the list.
We got to go to Michigan. I think maybe next year. I don't know, but we
there's like more of us that are like committed to it.
Yeah. Well, because other people can't drive.
God bless America, and gentlemen, start your engine!
Still down there. Still down there.
Still outside corner. Your number one.
Was out. Hell was out. Dancer just about outwrecked him. And then she busted her ass.
Cheers.
Bush peach.
Is that a peach? Ugh, nasty. Yeah. Ugh.
Why wouldn't it be a peach?
Bro,
You
first
ready?
Ross Chastain cheats on the watermelon for the peach. Now you're drinking a peach. Just what's the world coming
Man,
to?
you know I got like 630 racks at the house of this stuff.
So
The bush peach to me is like the apple for y'all. So
true. I do like the apple. I can get down with some apple. But all right, so Michigan had a great week at Michigan.
weekday.
Rainstorms lead the day again. That's that. Yeah, put it up there. But yeah, like we were saying, we got to go to Michigan. I don't care what we have to do. Apparently, I've always heard the infield there is also pretty fun, like Talladega.
Just take a bus. Start a GoFundMe right now for the fuel.
That's what we're gonna need. We're gonna need everyone to watch our videos, possibly go buy a shirt. Because if we want to make it to Michigan, we got to think of tow bill. That's literally how we go about where we're taking the bus.
Tow bill and diesel bill. Because
what's the tow bill to get it back home? But dude, Michigan, it's
might just
one of
be
those trips
in Michigan.
Yeah, and then we can then the boys have somewhere to stay, and so we can all be up there.
That's right.
Win-win.
Well, I don't know if Michigan's going to be in the cards for next year because I think we saw some of that sneak peek of the schedule, and now Michigan's like in June.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
Let's see. We got Michigan right now. Where'd he go? 6:15. That's what they got it set up as right now.
Yeah, it's like 2 weeks after. What was it?
Well, Charlotte's 5:25. Nashville 6:1. We're not going to that. Mexico City 6:8. We definitely ain't going to that. 6:15's Michigan, then Pocono, then Atlanta. So it'd be
that's what it was. It was Michigan, then Atlanta, and to like go to Michigan and then have a week off and go to Atlanta. That's asking quite a bit.
That's rough. That would be very rough. Now the
Charlotte,
good news,
like Charlotte, it's Charlotte, then 2 weeks, then Michigan, and then a week, and then Atlanta. So not sure Michigan will be in the cards next year.
Yeah, it would be very, very tough.
Because I'm not giving up the 600, and I'm not giving up Atlanta.
Yeah, definitely. There's no way we're giving up Atlanta at all, and then of course the Coke 600. Where's the Bristol night race?
This picture only shows
we're pretty set up. So what?
This picture only shows the regular season. The Bristol night race was
9:13. I got it here. 9:13 for Bristol night, and then we have 10:5 for the Charlotte Roval.
Yeah, I would gladly give up the Roval.
See, y'all say that, but I love going to the Roval. It sucks to watch on TV, so if I'm gonna watch that race, I'm watching in person.
Go by yourself is what you can do.
I'll bring the bus by myself.
You can fucking do that.
I need people to watch the videos and the things so I can pay for the gas bill.
There you go. I mean, I think I said it the other day. I would gladly give up the Roval, but I'd still pay for the site. So that way, maybe in 2026, hint, hint, NASCAR, let's go back to the Oval in 2026. That we'll still have the same site.
It would be very nice because they need to figure that part out because they keep telling us it's going to be a couple years, got to pay off the old. I think it's time. I think it's played its course. I think it's time.
Yep.
All right. So let's move into Michigan.
Well, you want to talk about Michigan first, or you want to talk about the news that happened over last week? Because we didn't get to talk about that.
Dylan?
Yeah, Dylan. Penalties.
I don't see what he did wrong. What was talking about?
I don't either.
All he did was the same thing to the two drivers that do it to everybody else. I don't.
Right. I think I made a modification to my assumptions of what I thought would happen as far as penalties, and I was pretty spot on.
Yeah. Well,
playoff eligibility taken away, so he's got to win again to get into playoffs, which he could have a shot this weekend going to Daytona.
I mean, he's looked out for.
I thought he would be suspended for the entirety of the season, but only 3 races. And I think, yo, Dalton, what's up, brother?
What I mean?
Right here.
Yeah, I mean, and that's kind of where things kind of get sticky, in my opinion, because, NASCAR and the way that these works, and obviously I made a TikTok for this today. It's out there. Apparently, we're shadow banned again on TikTok, so I don't know if anybody's even seen it. You might have to go to our TikTok and look at it.
I didn't see it.
But the biggest thing here is when NASCAR changed the writing of how these appeals would happen after Louvergate with Hendrick, Dylan has to prove that he was innocent of the crime. But the problem is NASCAR never defined the crime. They just said he crossed the line. So he has some room to work, but for them to rule that he didn't intentionally do 2 cars, that's going to be very difficult.
Yeah, I mean, I think if he had just flat out wrecked Logano and nothing would have happened with Denny, then we would have been okay. But I think because the second hit on Denny, especially the hooking part, whether he hooked him or not, just one of those things. Turn your volume down. I can hear myself.
I need to put the cover back on.
Put the cover back on. But anyways, and then of course Joey got a $50,000 fine. And we know how that works out now. He wires money straight to NASCAR's bank, PNC Bank. Yo,
I'm
Matt.
I'm not a fan of the whole 50,000 only being the fine. I really think that fine should hurt. I think it should be 100 to 150, if not $250,000.
If you want it to hurt, take some points. I still hear myself.
So I don't. Hold on, I'm trying to get the volumes perfect.
Got the isolation turned on, buddy.
Shut up. So the thing about it is, if you take points away, you hurt the team because obviously the points, especially when you get to the under points, that's how the team gets paid. I want to hurt the driver that made the dumb decision. The team didn't make that decision.
Yeah, you take driver.
So that's why you need to
take under points.
I still think it's the sponsor dollars is going to matter there.
Maybe.
That's what I think. Like, you make it hurt for the driver. I think when it's something like that, you make it hurt the driver. But 50,000 does not hurt that driver.
Yeah, Joey wipes his ass with 50,000.
Yeah, I mean the hair plugs are worth more than that.
It's got enough kids to support it, so
it's true.
So,
all right,
yeah, we had some bullshit penalties come down. I feel like I still think I don't agree with.
What are you playing with?
Huh?
What are you playing with?
Knife. ADD. I don't agree with the penalty on Dylan, but I mean, I think it was the only way they, could police this from happening in the future. But if you advertise winning you're in, the hypocrisy involved with that just kind of baffles me. But whatever.
But is it with their way they did this penalty? Does it mean that winning you're in isn't as important as it used to be?
You would think so.
If they're willing to sit there and say that this win no longer grants you that access, that's unprecedented.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm glad they didn't take the win away from Dylan, because that would have opened up a whole bunch of shit. So he gets to keep the win, but it just takes that playoff eligibility. But still, I think it's one of those things like if you're advertising win and you're in, and then the dude did what he had to do to win to get in, and then you take the playoff eligibility away, and then you say, well, drivers know that there's a gray line. Well, clearly Dylan didn't know where the gray line was because he did what he had to. So
in the heat of the moment, nobody looks at lines. I mean, obviously we had Talladega the week before. Was it Talladega where everyone kept where Chase Elliott and Brad Keselowski had the blending line violations because they went to the wrong line? Indy, that was Indy, yeah. So I mean, like, that's a legit line, and they didn't know where to go. So I mean, like, NASCAR's got to figure this out.
Larson, went over the line, so they didn't know his own.
Yeah, I mean, NASCAR's gonna have to figure this out because they've made it. Uncle Cuck Racing. This is a PG show, everyone. Keep it in the comments nice.
I like it.
But it's a
PG
very
show. What the fuck are you talking about, dog?
It's true. It is true. But it definitely makes a very blurry line. We don't exactly know what's too much. We don't know exactly what's too little. Obviously, we've seen Joey shit people. We've seen Denny Hamlin use somebody up and put them in only one lane. Oh, well, it was the natural progression of the turn. When did Denny give a crap about the natural progression and the racing line when he's using you up to only leave you one lane?
He only cares about it when it benefits him.
Yeah, like all the people in our comments were like sitting there saying, well, that's the natural racing line. If you're trying to squeeze someone, you're squeezing them out of the natural racing line so that you can try to win, especially if you're side drafting them too. Like, I don't understand some people. They just don't think outside the box.
Baffling. For sure.
But
I feel like that's old news at this point, though. So, like, I guess we can move on to actually what happened this weekend.
So now we move on to Michigan. It's yet another summer race, yet another
3 o'clock start time.
3 o'clock start time.
2:30.
Why are we starting so late?
I think Dalton's here for this part of the show because I said I was going to rant about this.
Yeah.
I don't understand why we are starting races at just random times anymore. Dalton sent the picture of, I guess it was 2010 is when they announced that they were going to do like set start times. I remember they were doing that for a couple years. And I think it was 2017, 2018, somewhere around that time frame is when we started deviating away from that. It happened earlier this year for myself that I thought the race was supposed to start like at 3 o'clock or whatever, and I turned the TV on. Fucking race is like 20 laps into it. I'm like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't really get why we've gotten away from just standard start times. I know there's time zones that you have to deal with, but I mean, if it's a East Coast time or Central time zone, start the race at 2 o'clock Eastern time. Like I don't get it, or push it to 1 o'clock. I know that you've got Sunday races and there's church crowds and stuff like that, but I don't know, man. We put ourselves in this situation. It seems like every single summer portion of the season that we interfere with rain because we're starting these races at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and then we try to dry the track, waste a whole bunch of time drying the track.
Yeah.
A bunch of TV coverage that I think even TV networks are done with it. And they're just like, okay, we're going to talk to drivers for 10, 15 minutes. And then here's a replay from last weekend.
Yeah. They play last year's race.
Yeah. I mean,
if you're only listening, you can really easily accidentally go into the wrong race.
Oh yeah. You know about that, don't you?
Yeah.
I guess we had washing tires this weekend.
Bro, I'm sitting there like, all right, listening to it because I got it on my headset and I'm sitting there driving on the tractor. And all of a sudden they say option tires and then they go, Kyle Larson's modeled back in the field. And I'm like, okay, the option tires.
What's up, Mason?
Hey, Mason, can you wave? Say, hey, Uncle Andy.
No.
You got an apple? It's a good apple. Yeah, good. Want to go back to mommy?
Does he like bush apple?
He's going to hang around for a little bit, apparently. But it doesn't make any sense in my opinion because a lot of people go, well, they're trying to keep that prime time, and we don't want to go against football. Well, that makes absolutely no sense because Sunday night football is a whole lot bigger than regular games on the football schedule. So, where's the line that we're
First of
drawing?
all, so Sunday night football.
No.
Well, what time does a Sunday night football game start on average?
7,
Okay, so
7:30.
if they are worried about going up against Sunday night football that starts at 7:30, doesn't that just reiterate the point that races should be started like at 1 o'clock in the afternoon? Because the average race length is 3 hours, 3.5 hours, depending if, since we get into these gimmick finishes anymore and we have like 13 green white checkers. So you figure maybe a 4-hour race, worst case scenario. I don't know. That puts, the race being over at 5, 6 o'clock. Then you're not up against Sunday night football. And it works perfectly for the fans to where they can watch NASCAR race start to finish, and they go straight into a Sunday night football race. Mason, you're ruining the show for me, buddy. Kidding.
He stole one of my hats and he's leaving.
That's all I care about. He's gonna steal that sheet metal behind you next.
No, he ain't taking that one. He took the Folgers hat. He's got good taste.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good hat.
Mini pool appearance. Mini pool appearance. And he yells at children. Oh, he definitely yells at children.
I don't
100%.
have children, so I mean,
Ever seen how he yells at his own dogs? I mean, same thing. But yeah, no, I don't.
Joe's
I don't
been over there
know.
licking her paw for the last 30 minutes, so
It's true. But NASCAR can fix this a couple different ways, in my opinion. First way, second half of the season, if you go to a track more than once, it's a night race. Saturday night race. Fixes the whole problem to begin with, just period. But then the only Sunday races are going to be the Sunday night race when it comes to a holiday being on Monday. That's it. That's the only way that they can have a Sunday night race.
Labor Day, Memorial Day. Those are the only 2 races that you race on Sunday night because everybody is typically off on those weekends. So that gives you the opportunity to run those races on a Sunday night. But you think back to all the night races we've had in the past. When I was growing up, every single Richmond race was at night on a Saturday night. Our last Richmond race was Sunday evening, 6 o'clock. Like what I don't even understand that. Like we're starting night races now, like at 6 o'clock in the afternoon. Like that doesn't make much sense either. That way
it doesn't, especially if they have lights.
Well, you can go as far as talking about lights. I think every track should have lights outside of a road course.
Outside of road courses, I 100%. Like, why are we still worrying about lights?
Because if you're forcing a race to start at 3 o'clock in the afternoon in the summertime and you're going to have rain showers, why are we not having lights at every single track to where when the track can be dried, we can start that race back at 7, 8, 9, 10? Mason, you're ruining the show, buddy. Pulling your dad away from this.
He just wants to be a fan.
He's a new co-host.
He's a fan for the day.
Go put him in his bedroom and give him a laptop.
Just watch Paw Patrol. That's his big thing lately. Because they waited to start at 3. Yeah, makes no sense. At least Pool's kids don't bite. I feel like he's holding some resentment there. I don't know, but I feel like he's holding some resentment there.
Nova just does not like you.
It's a David thing. She also doesn't like me. Yeah,
she doesn't like anybody named David.
It's a David thing because she has to bark every single room that I take one step in.
That's true. No. Hey. So why doesn't every track have lights other than road course?
I don't know. I mean, they act like they don't make any money yet. They make the majority of the money, and they can't afford to put lights at all the tracks. Like, come on, give us lights. Give it.
Michigan under lights would be badass.
Dude, Michigan. Like, imagine a Michigan under the lights Saturday night, heat of the summer. Oof.
You remember back in like 05, 06, 07, that time frame that Fontana was under the lights? Like West Coast race, 2-mile track. Like, that was awesome.
Yeah.
I stay up till the ass crack of dawn, essentially, but
I'm fine. I'm fine with that. But that's why I'm like, if it needs to be a Saturday night.
I'm sitting on your foot.
I know you're standing on your foot.
Hey, what is it? Why is the
Hey,
penguin wearing a hat?
Why is the penguin wearing a hat? I don't know, buddy. But we're doing. There's people.
Stop.
Say hey to the people again.
Hey,
Hey, people.
hey, she-
stop. See, I yell at dogs, I yell at kids.
It's the same. Ow, my foot. Oh, you
Um,
anyway. But yeah, no. So okay. He's purposely stomping on my foot. It hurts. Sure.
This is more entertaining than our show.
All right. Sorry. Nope.
Next up on Fascar Pit Stop, child abuse.
Good mom. All right. How many pull to sit? I can't, because if he does it, then his mom will kill me. Oh, my battery's gonna die. I'm gonna have to switch out batteries here. I forgot to switch out batteries.
And
before
you were
this.
giving me shit about my microphones.
I have the other one though. You don't.
It is true. If we go any longer with this, it may actually die.
Living
All
on
right,
it.
so talk to our crowd about the Xfinity race and the priors to the Cup race while I switch my batteries out real quick.
Well, the Xfinity race I didn't really watch much of, so I mean I watched part of it. This is going to be so entertaining here. Why'd you mute it though? Anyways, so yeah, our Xfinity race, I watched a little bit of it. I saw Austin Hill get wrecked because he doesn't know how to drive. So wherever Dalton's at, I know you're going to love that. Riley Hurst had a nice little. Hey, that was pretty quick there, buddy. Riley Hurst had a nice little wreck where he wrecked himself across. Whose nose was it? The
one that decided to go flying this weekend.
Yeah, who did Hurst wreck across the nose of?
I don't remember.
39? Ryan C.
Yeah, I think C. Ryan C. Yeah.
Yeah. We saw some big wrecks this weekend between Xfinity.
Yeah. Yeah, we definitely saw some NASCAR safety coming back into it again. Oddly enough, Sieg and LaJoy hit the wall in the same exact spot. Like, they both hit in the same spot. They both got air after hitting that wall. So, kind of interesting.
Yeah.
What was that noise?
I felt bad for Ryan C because he was running good for most of the race. Riley Hurst, I mean, he had a fast car too, but clearly ran out of talent. Speaking of somebody that ran out of talent, I watched the replay of the race last night and saw my guy ran out of talent. So that was fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, Young Money.
Yeah, that was fucking gold.
That was pretty funny. Watching all the stuff, it was definitely worth it. NASCAR brought the car.
What? Okay, what's up with everybody making a big deal about LaJoy flipping over?
Make a big deal of what?
Cars are going to flip. Like, everybody's making a big deal about cars flipping over. Like, Jeff Burton was talking like half the fucking broadcast, it seemed like. Oh, NASCAR is going to have to figure out why cars are flipping over. They're not going to like this. Well, okay, yeah, they're not going to like it, but big deal.
They don't have to figure out anything. The car has a flat bottom.
The driver signed up for this. If the car fucking flips over, it's going to flip over.
Yeah. It's a full flat bottom. Like, whenever you seal up that entire bottom where there is no air to escape, this is going to happen. It doesn't matter if they make them slower. It's just going to put them more together, causing more people to flip. So, like, why they're sitting there focusing on this and going, well, they got to figure it out. They got to make this. So they got to make it slower. They got to do this. It's not going to do anything. The car was safe. Did they get out of the car pretty much instantly after they got the teams over to them? Yes. That means the cars did their job, kept the driver safe.
Well, I mean, they also talked about, too, like, oh, NASCAR did such a great job designing this car because the roof didn't buckle in or anything. There's no damage to the roll cage. Like, okay, so y'all built a pretty strong car for when it flips over. Why are we making a big deal about this? Yeah, Ryan Preece's wreck at Daytona last year was insane.
That was vicious.
He had black eyes and flipped 79 times, but That's because the car hit the grass and it like pirouetted across the track.
Yeah.
Like
It's catching the grass, which
like-
is why NASCAR went in and made it no grass.
same thing with Talladega back in the day. Like they got rid of all the grass.
It's
Big
asinine
track
to me that
problem.
people want to focus on it.
Yeah, I don't know. I know that they.
Dalton's on
Who
one
was it?
tonight.
Yeah, Jeff Burton. I get frustrated with Jeff. Sometimes he's solid. Other times it's like, oh God, please shut up. Because it's my camera's blocking that. I can't read
It
it.
says people are making a big deal because they like to bitch about safety. It's an addiction for some people. You know, it's true. It's kind of like
if you are a NASCAR fan, bitching is a requirement to be a NASCAR fan.
it is. It's kind of like if you're a vinegar barbecue fan, you always got to act like it's actually better, even though it's trash.
Dear God, we're gonna get on this shit again.
Oh yeah, I will fight for some barbecue. If you
People
need
in the chat, vinegar barbecue sauce or not?
vinegar or sweet and spicy. That's all we need to know.
Why are you being a prejudiced towards barbecue
Cooper,
sauce?
we don't
All
need that
barbecue sauce.
negativity in this chat room right now.
All barbecue sauce is great for the most part, unless it's like that Jack Daniel shit.
No, that ain't happening. I'm not putting that on the screen. It's not true. Yeah, there is a bunch of people that are just wrong in our chat right now. It's not happening. If you come, I swear, if you ever show up with vinegar barbecue sauce for any of my barbecue, I'm not ever cooking for you ever again. It's not going to happen. I'm sorry.
The chat is goated, just so you know.
I need to block some people.
I think I'm just gonna keep putting these up. That's what happens when we both have control of the chat there, buddy.
That's what happens when both of us have control of the chat. There you go, Jerry. Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you. If you make it good enough, you don't need sauce. But if you do need sauce, don't drain it in freaking vinegar that's going to wash your taste buds. Now,
I'm
back to
literally
race
counting
action.
like 3 or 4 people here that are saying that vinegar sauce is goated.
Okay, 3 or 4 people can be wrong. Happening.
Tier 1.
Let's get back to being a NASCAR podcast. Goodness gracious.
You're the one that brought up the barbecue sauce.
It's because I saw Matt and everything went red. I can't help it.
Yeah.
I like my barbecue sauce.
Hey, your barbecue is pretty great. What do you use to inject it with?
Preset. You can use apple cider vinegar, but I mix it with apple juice.
Apple cider what?
Apple cider vinegar, but that is not the sauce used on the barbecue once it's done.
But the
And it will
barbecue
never be
has vinegar injected in it, so
don't tell people my secrets.
you're the one that told him. I said, "What do you use?"
Yeah, but you said injected. I never said injected.
It's injected with apple cider
I just
vinegar.
rubbed it. Masala.
There's like 79 other ingredients. Chill out.
There's a few.
Yeah, it's
I
great.
am not wrong about barbecue. I'm a NASCAR.
Hey, you cannot say that word.
I can say fat people. I am fat. It's one.
No,
I
I
am
didn't
one of
say
them.
that. The R word.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna go to sensitivity training for that.
Why is it that only the fat people understand good barbecue? Thank you, Jeremy.
I have a theory behind that, but it'd probably offend y'all.
Let's move on. So when we go back to Michigan and we talk about the whole weekend from the beginning, even though we had to wait to start the race, we did get all of stage 1 in, and we got to finish the day with Denny Hamlin wrecking because he ran out of talent. Probably one of my favorite times to watch the race because I literally had just tuned in when that happened. So that's perfect.
I mean, so with Denny spinning out, Jesus Christ, my dog is like literally eating her foot right now. With Denny spinning out and Kyle spinning out, just goes to show like these two guys at the start of the race had both of them running like neck and neck, first and second place. Awesome start to the race. I'm going to brag on my guy for a second. That move he made on the backstretch on lap 1 to take the lead, like that's Kyle Larson. Like that's whether you like him or not, like fucking sends it. So
that's when it was hung money.
Yeah, that was hung money for sure. And then with Denny spinning out, just an aero situation, losing control of it. Kyle spinning out, aero situation, losing control of it. Like two of the greatest in our sport right now. I mean, both losing it just shows, how hard these cars are to control, how fast, how loose they have to be fast. Should have started the race earlier. Well, we had somebody there in person, and it was still pretty packed out.
This guy.
Yeah.
And I mean, Darren, we 100% agree with you. There's no.
Yeah, I'm not defending it.
There's no way. Like, when you push it to Monday, it automatically cuts out half the fans. I could not watch the race. I had meetings scheduled that entire time. So by the time I switched back over,
I wasn't able to watch it either.
Yeah. By the time I switched back over, there was 10 laps left to go in the entire race because I finally got out of the meetings, finally got to see what was going on. My fantasy was jacked, but thank goodness that all the drivers that pretty much everyone else picked was also gone. So that helped me out a little bit. But I had Ty Gibbs in my garage, and that could have propelled me to number 1. But Andy got it this week, and Andy got the winner of the cash pot that we play in our little side league. So congratulations.
Thanks. Please don't pick Kyle Larson anymore because you're the new Bob Pockris where your picks do not work out.
Dude, every time.
Dude, you're just shitting away points, by the way.
Dude, it's got to be out of all my picks. It has to be only 78% have finished the race.
Hold on, I got this. I actually made a spreadsheet to start doing the points. So much better now, by the way. And have it here.
It's been bad. And
picked
Larson. 2 times I picked Larson. Both times he didn't finish.
You had 3 points.
That's not even my lowest amount of points for a race, though. Remember the one where I only got 1 point?
Yeah. Dude, you were like, you, Charles, Jeremy, Pittman, and I were all within like 10 points of each other. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And now you're like 100 points behind me.
Jumped off a cliff.
Yeah.
Jumped. But the good news is I'm still second in fantasy, and I'm closing in on Nate. So that's my claim to fame here. I'm definitely not getting the nut trophy, but
Dakota, if you're here, which you're not because you haven't chimed in, loser.
Yeah, Dakota.
I think you should just take a week off in the group chat points.
I thought it was going to be this week because, dude, I was like the only one making picks, and everyone else was like, "What's going on?" I'm like, they canceled qualifying, and y'all are like, nothing. So I text you. I'm texting David. I'm like, hey, make your picks.
Pittman, why didn't you play this weekend? Everybody was tagging you, and you still didn't play.
Because he couldn't get his pick. He pulled a Cooper. If you can't get the number you want, you just don't play. Levy Coop. Network calls the shots all about how much money NASCAR can put on their pockets. I listened to the race Monday on the NASCAR app. Yeah, I mean, that's the problem is like if NASCAR is the product, how are we not working this into our deals where there is a game plan for when there's inclement weather? In the summertime, it's going to rain at Daytona. It's going to rain at Pocono. It's going to rain at Michigan. These are things that are all going to happen. But yet we don't even work it in the contracts to have a backup plan or Denny said it probably best, in my opinion, whenever they were talking about it on the like, who's tuning into USA Network that really wants to see that rerun of NCIS that we missed because it doesn't make any sense. Like, we have got to be the reason why people tune in, not, okay, well, we can only tune in if. We can only do this if. It doesn't make any sense.
I mean, it seems like to us, and we've made the comment before, that it seems like NASCAR is more concerned about TV ratings than they are what the fans in
100%.
person are getting to witness. Well, if you're starting a race 3:00 in the afternoon in the summertime, and it really doesn't even matter where you are in the country in the summer, it's proven statistically that you know pop-up thunderstorms and showers are more likely to show up later in the afternoon. So if we're starting these races at 3:00, 2:30, for example, with Michigan, but if we're starting them then, we are putting ourselves in a box that we're just going to have this happen to us. And yes, you cannot fully predict, you know, when it's going to rain. These cells, they could, you know, go around the track. Vortex theory, I'm a believer in it. I mean, vortex theory is real, especially smaller of a track. I mean, I think with Michigan, it was going to rain no matter what. But we continue to put ourselves in a box here by starting these races as late as we are, trying to appeal to TV ratings, and ultimately it hurts the fans. Now, obviously, Cooper was there for the weekend. He was able to watch the race Monday and stay for it and everything. But for fans, we've been screwed by rain before. It's not the first time.
600 last year. Not this year, but last year, previous year.
Yeah. So it's one of those situations that, you know, you want to draw crowds to a race. You want to stack the, you know, put fans in the stands to make it look good on TV. Yeah. Well, it looked pretty good yesterday. As many fans showed up, but how many people actually got to watch the race live Monday? I wasn't able to. You weren't able to. I know most of the guys in the group chat were able to, but gee, I mean, most of the time, if we get a rain delayed race or rained out race or whatever, and it starts on a Monday, I normally am able to watch, but that's just one scenario. There's multiple people that still aren't able to watch.
Well, and what I'm about to say is I kind of hate saying it because I'm not a big fan of us moving to streaming platforms. However, I think streaming will fix this one piece, because if we're just relying on the streaming, there's not really time slots when it comes to streaming services. So if they have to move us up, I think it's going to be a lot easier for NASCAR to pull that trigger and move the start times up, back, around, because on the streaming service, it's just when it streams.
Cooper just sent me that. That's like all the fans waiting to get into the track yesterday. So
I was going to talk about that.
Fans, like, hats off to the fans for, you know, sticking it out, coming back.
Well, I was going to talk about that too. So Cooper, I had heard that there was something happened, and they weren't even like letting fans in really until like 15 minutes before green flag. Like apparently it was a big, almost shit show because there was a whole bunch of fans there and couldn't get in.
That's what it looked like in the video they sent.
Yeah. So calls on NBC Sports last week. That made no sense to me either. It's like your first time back in 2 weeks and you can't find us except for on a freaking app. Amazon is going to save us from getting in the 600 again next year. It's going to be interesting. I hate that we're going to be moving to streaming services because I think it should be available for everybody, but it is what it is.
Yeah. I think we should stop appealing to TV ratings and appeal to your hardcore fan base. Yeah. I mean, you're going to keep alienating it by just willy-nilly choosing what time to start a race, what days to run a race. Again, night races on Sunday makes no fucking sense.
Racing in Chicago.
2 years.
I think next year's the last year for that, though. Is that in the picture?
Does that mean we get to go back to Chicagoland?
No, because that would make sense. Yeah, 7-6 is Chicago.
Yeah,
that's gonna be
the race itself, though. Once it, like I said, I was able to watch it last night. Watch a rerun of it. Dakota ruined the finish for me because sent me my money, but ain't no big deal.
Oh no, sent you your money. So terrible.
Yeah. Hey, I got 4 wins on the year. Suck it.
I've got 4 DNFs on the year. Actually, probably 10 DNFs on the year. So you suck.
Well, that's what you get for picking Kyle Larson, because he either wins or he wrecks.
I'm picking Kyle Larson for Daytona. I'm rolling the dice.
Please don't. I need 3 guys to wreck out Daytona this weekend. Yo,
Who?
Dakota, what up, baby?
He's finally here. He finally made it.
Because I had to tell him. Fucking get it
You
up.
got one to make sure they come up.
Huh?
Who you trying to get out on Daytona? Who do you not want to finish?
Oh, the 3 guys in front of Kyle for the regular season.
Tyler Reddick's going to finish that race. Tyler Reddick's probably going to be in the top 5 again.
Well, it's Daytona. You never know what's going to happen.
You never know. I mean, Stenhouse could come back and all of a sudden be a win from outside. I mean, there's a bunch of drivers out there.
I am fucking excited for this weekend. I love Daytona. I love Daytona under the lights. I know we've had the conversation in the past about Daytona should have never left July 4th weekend, but putting it as a regular season finale was the next best option. And it's not even that this year.
It's not even that.
Next year.
But I mean, Darlington being the season ender, I'm not upset about Darlington being the season ender either. I just wish we could go to Darlington because of the way the schedule works. There's absolutely no way we can make that race.
You want to go? Just drive for the day.
I can't. I literally can't make any more races than what I got on the docket this year.
That's okay. I understand. Shit's expensive. I mean, we're doing 7 races next year?
Yes, we got 7 on the books for next year. Next year's going to be busy. So
Yeah,
we definitely got to watch our videos.
Gray.
Please watch the videos. Pay for
talking about Bowman Gray, so we'll see how that
Well,
works.
I'm going to real talk. I'm going to Bowman Gray. So hopefully you're
Real
definitely
talk.
Real talk. Dalton, we're coming to your place.
Yeah. Bowman Gray is pretty far up there. We missed out on doing the North Wilkesboro, so Bowman Gray would be a nice little redemption for that. Of course, we got Atlanta. 2 Atlantas.
Both
2
Atlantas, both Charlottes.
That's
We're
5.
talking about Michigan, Bristol
We can do Darlington, the spring Darlington race.
Yeah, next year.
Even if it's just a day trip, we don't take the bus, we just go for the day because that should be a 400 miler. Should be, won't be as hot as May at Darlington.
Yeah.
It's a month earlier, so
yeah, we should be able to make that one. I think next year,
definitely
scheduling wise,
Darlington, the first Darlington race.
scheduling wise, as far as races being spread apart, next year is perfect for us.
Everybody else in the chat that's part of the crew, let's maybe do Darlington Spring, maybe.
Bubba Wallace needs a win. May not be a popular pick, but that's what I'm pulling for.
I would pick him for this weekend.
I picked him to win Michigan. I thought he was going to do it. Obviously, I picked Bubba.
You picked Kyle.
No, on the show, I picked Bubba. Remember last week on the show?
Yeah,
with the picks?
Yeah. It was 8 days ago. Playoff.
Yeah, I picked Bubba to win because obviously I think he's racing pretty good right now. And I mean, obviously
he just hasn't had the
results
or the luck to show for it. He has had speed. They just haven't been able to put a race together. Not entirely his fault. So I can see Bubba winning this weekend. I could see him pointing himself in, depending.
Yeah.
As long as we don't get another winner, depending on how the appeal goes this week for Austin.
Yeah.
I don't really see him getting his playoff spot back, but even if he does, that's really going to shake it up. So
yeah,
depending on how that goes, we could have some really big news to talk about next week.
Gets a lot of heat for him. It is what it is. Everyone, we got a Bubba fan in our group too. I mean, it's just you got to have one.
Yeah. Dalton asked if we're coming to Bowman Gray. It's on the table. It's definitely a possibility, depending on tickets.
Taking you up on that one.
You got it,
But
Dalton.
yeah, I mean, obviously, it's going to be very interesting what shakes out. I mean, Chris Buescher is right there. He's only plus 17 to the good, so I'm kind of really hoping for him. It's a minus 1 point, plus 1 point for Ross Chastain and Bubba Wallace right now. So, I mean, these things are very, very tight. Martin Truex, if there's no new winner, Martin Truex can lock himself in on points after this weekend as long as nothing goes crazy.
Isn't it crazy we're talking about Martin Truex locking in on points? He hasn't won a race or anything. It's just – and it's not like they haven't had speed. They had a fast car yesterday. And
it's like a retirement curse. As soon as you say you're going to retire, you're not going to do good that season.
Yeah. I know Nathan's not going to like this, but I don't know if Martin's going to get a win this year. I think he's going to go winless.
He's also got a fast car going right now. He's just another one of those where he's unfortunately at the wrong place, the wrong time.
Yeah, Martin's 8th in points. This isn't showing a playoff picture. Yeah, Martin's plus 77. Ty Gibbs is plus 39. I think as long as Ty has a good race this weekend, I think he can point himself in.
This week saved him for sure because
Yeah.
he's been doing really bad lately.
Yeah, he's had a rough summer. And not
Bro,
all
it
doing.
has,
Not all.
and I mean, the dude just got the worst sponsorship ever. The Reagan car looks horrible, so I don't look at a lot of great things coming for a Daytona for him. But he did good. What was it, top 3? Third?
I think the surprising part too, going in, 2 races left in the playoffs, Ross Chastain, 1 point above the cut. Like, where's Ross been this year?
Suarez got a win, and he didn't.
Yeah. Granted, he's like the
win that nobody talks about
as far as wins.
Eric Jones about to shake up the playoffs at Darlington. Legacy is not shaking up the playoffs at Darlington. I'm sorry. Eric Jones could if his car was worth a dang.
I like the optimism.
Yeah,
Ross doesn't make it. I don't know if Ross makes it or not. I think we could have I think anything can happen at Daytona. So Darlington is really like your safe race to make the cut. But depending on how the appeal goes for Dylan, Daytona being a wild card for a winner, like you said, a Stenhouse could get in. We could potentially coming out of Daytona. Sorry, we could potentially coming out of Daytona have 2 guys flipped into the playoffs that we weren't planning on between Dylan and another winner. God.
Sorry, I just read our group chat.
Yeah. Hey, Matt's speaking the truth.
But all right, so obviously it was a great race overall. I mean, the finish was phenomenal. Are we ever going to get away from green, white checkers?
I wish.
What do you think about cutting the race at the mileage?
At a mileage?
At the mileage. So if it's a 500,
so you're
Daytona 500, it ends.
So you're doing away with the green, white checkered?
Yes.
No, because I want to see the race in under green. I don't want to go back to 90s NASCAR and prior to that of a race ending under a caution. I want to see it end under green. I think it goes back to NASCAR being trigger happy. Like, did Martin Truex's hitting the wall warrant a caution? No, he did not.
No, Cindric hit it earlier in the race, and
Charles,
they threw
I am not fucking saying it. I am not saying it.
Go back to just 3. Yeah, I would be okay with limiting it at 3. But I as much as I wish it was at the mileage cap, I think we do have to finish the race. But I do agree with limiting the green, white checkers for sure.
True. Yeah, well, I mean, limiting green, white checkers. I think these drivers just need to get their heads out of their asses.
Well, stop. I mean, if you're 15th, you're not going to get the first on a green, white checker.
No, you're not.
So, like, stop.
How about this? How about this? The green, white checkered has to happen. Everybody from 6th on back, they just park their cars. That's where they finished at. And you just have a top 5 shootout.
Yeah, I agree. I'm fine
that prevents Bowman from knocking the wall down and then coming across and causing the second green, white checkered.
Right? I mean, just like they got to figure something out here. It doesn't make any sense. We've got to get back to real racing and understanding what's going on there.
How the fuck, like last weekend, how do we go at Richmond, a short track of all places, no caution flag the entire race other than a stage break? And then 2 laps to go, Stenhouse just ships it in there and then causes 79 fucking cautions afterwards. Like, what are we doing?
That's because he was still waiting at the hauler. He was still waiting at the RCR hauler. He's like, you know what? Fuck you. Here we go.
I love it. I love it. Just need Matt in the group chat every.
Finally, Matt, you said something worth putting up. About time.
Darlington for the Southern 500 or the Spring Darlington race next year?
Both. All right.
I know it'll be at the Southern 500, but I think, again, we need to get a show of hands for Darlington Spring race next year. Whole group chat, get together. Charles, don't be a pussy. Come down.
Charles, just move down here.
I know. I don't know what you're waiting for.
Andy literally needs someone to sweep the shop. Go.
I got a room for rent.
There we go.
As long
Perfect.
as you're not afraid of getting bit in the ass by a dog,
That will happen. 100% chance.
it will happen.
All right. Let's move on to Daytona. Let's move on to picks. Who you got?
Bubba Wallace. You let me pick first.
Yeah, should have been nice. So I was going to pick the 23.
Coop's got the right idea.
So you pick the 23. I am going to pick. I'm gonna go. Not really a wild card, but I'm gonna go.
Kyle Larson. Kyle Larson. Super Speedway win.
Kyle Larson finally breaks the super speedway curse. No, that's not going to happen. He's going to wreck about halfway through.
No. See, he's gotten better. He wrecks on the last lap.
Probably. I'm going to go with Busher. I'm going to say Busher for this one. I think Brad's going to help him, and he's going to push him back to the win.
Back-to-back
So
Daytona summer wins.
Yep.
I like it.
I'm going to go with.
I like it.
Matt is not wrong again. Matt is actually right some of the time, apparently. I didn't know that.
Matt's right all the time.
No,
he solidified how right he is when he likes vinegar barbecue.
Raspberry doesn't win. I'm going to pull a Boston. Back down.
All right, end the show. Cut it. Cut it.
Thanks, guys, everyone. We appreciate everyone for being here.
Everybody.
Thank y'all so much.
Yeah.
We'll be back again next week after Monday. That was not us. We did not type that in there. That was somebody else. Don't know what's going on. All right, y'all have a good night. Till next time. See ya.
I think that's up there with Dakota.
Oh shit, we're still live.
Yeah, still alive, man. You didn't thank all your sponsors.
It's their thing. Thank y'all. Bye.